Hello, people and bots. Grandpa Canuck here, and today we are in Hearts of Iron 4 Black Ice mod. And this is part 1, the starting of our Canada campaign. Canada has one of the most interesting, unique tech trees. Wow. Please go through my tutorial on the Canadian tech tree if you wish to understand that, or gradually watch the whole series and decide for yourself what you think about it. Okay, now what are we going to start with here? Steady as She Goes is the political first item. Strike Down Bennett's New Deal is the development of resources, etc. I think we are going to go Steady as She Goes off the start here. And let's organize this into 1 unit, 2 units. So here we have Western forces. Eastern forces. Okay. There we go. Our Navy is a whole 2 destroyers, the Royal Canadian Navy. Somebody's got to be in charge of that. And we will put him. He's our best spotter. Okay. The Army. Okay. We have 3 officers, all with identical talents. We'll use those 2. And 1 field marshal choice. Okay. Our Air Force. 16 close air support. And 24 flying boats. Protect our coastline. Let's fly that nowhere. We'll leave it where it is. No, we'll come to Nova Scotia. With that, we won't bother deploying any of the Army changes. Nothing really required yet. We don't have a lot of resources. Okay, research. 1 air. We can't research any air doctrines yet. So what are we going to research? 1936. Oh, let's go with the scimitar. 1 naval. Submarines or not? Cruisers or not? Aircraft carriers or not? Well, let's develop a fire control system. That's a good one off the start. We get a 40% bonus. Looks to be one of our biggest bonuses. We'll do that. Army development. We got a long way to go here. We're definitely going to need trucks. We get a 50% bonus. We'll go with that first. 2 all-purpose. Well, one of these is going to have to do doctrines. We got to go back to the World War I doctrines, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, or 6. Okay, this one's got a 50% bonus. We'll do that first. And this one we will do with somewhere in our engineering field. Organic minerals. Improve the smelting techniques. No big bonuses on this. No big bonuses here. Got a few down here for dockyards. Civilian factory construction speed up 3%. 10% bonuses. And a 10% bonus there, which is going to increase research speed. Well, let's go with that first. That's what we got. Okay, everything is hugely negative here. We'll go for civilian factories. 25, 25. Everything's pretty much what we can do. We'll put 1 there. 1 there. That's about it. Okay, we are full on what we can produce here. I think we're going to cut out the cavalry horse equipment right off the bat. And that has 8 that we have. That's really all we have to start with. Naval-wise, though, we have 4. I don't think there's anything we can really do much off the start. Do we have any escorts? No. We have destroyers, so we will start to build a destroyer. We have 4, so we might as well start a second one. So that's that. Huge surplus in energy, 77%. That's huge. We are lacking aluminum because we don't have any factories set up. Well, looks like we'll only need 1. We're going to need 40. We're going to need 2 of those off the start. And we are going to need at least 3. We want to deal with England, our major trading partner. Time. And bauxite. Two of those. That should produce the aluminum we need. Away we go. 1, 2 days. We're still down on steel. 1. We'll need at least another 25. Up 2. And that's got us minimally covered on what we need for the production aspect of things. Okay. No air, no armor. Destroyers, and we got one factory in each of these areas. And of course, we have shortages up and down the board. And that's the way it's going to go for a while. League of Nations. I think Canada is one of the most interesting secondary countries to play in Black Ice mod of Hearts of Iron 4. We've got a slight downage on our oil. Secondary nations can do interesting impacts, usually on one theater of operation. Canada can have huge impact on World War II. And naval trees, steady as she goes. Canadian Federation of Mayors and Municipalities. That gives us a bonus. It says about once a year. We're going to do that next. As our numbers plummet in the Great Depression, which isn't really over yet. '36 Winter Olympics. Oh, Japan abandons the naval treaties. As we go hopping along. A lot of this first episode is going to go really, really fast. We're going to get a long way fast. Canada, particularly pre-war, is very, very much what's going on behind the curtain type of gameplay. It's not upfront troop movement. Well, we got 30% for the second one. Let's do that as well. Heavy trucks we can make. Tilly, morphing 1500 weight. It's 1936. Oh, so much that we need. Uniforms. We need everything improved. Yeah, they're back in the Rhineland. Canada's not doing anything about anything. Okay. So, the Canadian Federation of Mayors and Municipalities meet. And we get to choose one of 5 items. Strong municipal government gives me political power. Power plant, which I definitely don't need. The local employment efforts. 5 on stability. Well, that would be good. Road development gives me 1 infrastructure in British Columbia. Industrial capacity, extra building slots, British Columbia, Northwest Territories, and Manitoba. I think I'm going to add the stability right now. And since we add the stability there, we're going to do this one, which is going to take away our stability, but get us started. Kind of an odd way to start, but that's what we need to do. Okay, we have 172 points. Now, I think I need a naval theorist off the start. World War I naval doctrines, yeah. Naval doctrine research speed, naval experience gain. We're going to go with a naval theorist. I thought we were going with a naval theorist. We first need a Navy chief. So, we need a Navy chief first. Chief of the Navy. Commerce rating. Decisive battle. Anti-submarine expert. Well, I think we definitely could use the anti-submarine expert. You got it, Bonnie. That's Bonnie of Bonnie and Clyde, my two green-cheeked conures who love to get in on the conversation. Don't you, Bonnie? You're a pretty bird. Hey, you're a pretty bird. You can talk nicely to the people. Okay, so there's our first 150 points. We'll grow on that. Armstrong Whitworth, Scimitar. 1936. Not a lot of good choices. I can't do anything here yet. A lot of aircraft I'm not going to develop. So let's just jump ahead to something I'm more interested in, like the Hurricane. Well, yeah. Okay, so that's that one. And we have the electronics. 10%. Anything open up here? Nothing too major. Well, we got a 10% here now, so let's get that improved smelting. We need that in the long run. And that's what this is all about, the long run. Field uniforms. We have field uniforms. Well, 50%, let's get that one. Get all the easy ones first. So we can stop making World War I uniforms and get proper uniforms for the 30s. League of Nations condemns the Austrian militarism. Well, don't think the League of Nations is going to really do too much. No, it wasn't a really successful idea. Okay, strike down Bennett's deal. monthly population, ration decay, opposition party, civilian factories, bonuses, 3 steel mills, hydro plant, excavation increases, civilian factories. Okay, let's go with civilian factories here off the first couple. Not that they're going to do an awful lot. As far as building an army, that's kind of out. We can't maintain the stuff we have. Down 2,000 infantry equipment, 2,600 uniforms. Mineral resource extraction factor plus 10%. Commonwealth ties. 3% technology sharing bonus. Well, that's a good one early on. Having an extra 3% getting through our research, I think is pretty primary off the start. Communist coup in Bolivia, of course. Fire control system 2, or whatever that is. 10% on the next one. 10% on those dual purpose 115 millimeters. That's a much better destroyer gun. Well, 30% there for the cruisers. Let's go with that. So I'll all be for naval upgrades as we get there. Improve smelting. No bonuses in sight. 40%. No. Go there. And I don't think that'll change our level of smelting needs. No, not at all. Relief camps. Aircraft artillery observers. That is a World War I tech. This really irks me. Canada doesn't have the stormtrooper assaults. You know, it was World War I Canadians that forced the term stormtrooper. They attacked so vigorously and in such an interesting method of supporting each other, you know, with machine guns, rifles, snipers, grenades, etc., that the Germans hated it when the Canadians made those type of raids, and they said they came on like a storm. They were stormtroopers, and that is where the term got invented of stormtroopers. It was Canadian World War I, and the fact they don't give us this stormtrooper assaults technology is a real pain in the ass as far as I'm concerned. 20% on that one. You're going to get a few lectures. I'm a retired Canadian military historian. So you're going to get a few lectures through this playthrough. That's right, Bonnie. Whether they like it or not, Okay. Slightly better, yeah. Better rifles. We're going to need that. So that's a 50 bonus. We'll take that. And start making the better rifles. The Lee Enfield. What were we making before? The Ross! Oh, the Ross versus the Lee Enfield. There's a controversy. Now, the Ross has gotten a bad rap, but it's all a matter of, you know, if you compare it to cars, what would you like to drive? A tractor or a sports car? I don't know. A tractor or a sports car? Which would be your choice? And a rifle. Do you want a Ross or a Lee Enfield? Same choice. Tractor or sports car? So, a lot of people like sports cars. Yeah. A lot of snipers prefer the Ross because it's a much better. It's the sports car. But the Lee Enfield is like the tractor. And in the muddy trenches of World War I, tractor was much better than a sports car to move around. Thus, as the saying goes, the Lee Enfield was better suited. But all of the Canadian snipers maintained a Ross. If it had good, clean ammunition and was well cared for, like the way the snipers take care of theirs, it was a vastly superior weapon. Vastly superior. But it was prone to failure because of bad ammunition, poor made ammunition, which the British were making. And the Lee Enfield was just a wonky, cheap weapon that could use any old bullet and would stand up to all kinds of dirt and grime. And that's what you needed in the trench for the average soldier. So there's the Lee Enfield versus the Ross. Conference of Defense Association. Gives me command power. War support. My war support's not going anywhere anytime soon. The CBC. Form the CBC. Gives me 1 stability. We got to get it done. Anything to secure our stability. Oh, we got our points now. Let's go back. Get our naval theorist. There we go. Nicaragua withdraws. Who cares, really? We now have a CBC. Wow. Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Let's research text. That's a necessary evil. Get that done. Tour de France. No sense trying to make... Oh, what do we have here? We have a crash. Yeah, it crashed. That's not good, is it, Bonnie or Clyde? Well, we'll send a report in. And we will reload. Wonder what caused that. Okay, we will resume, and the video will be back momentarily here. There we go. Get to see some of the wonderful load screens. People don't matter, only what they represent. Yeah. Great liars are also great magicians. Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Yep. Oh, Tora. Yes, the code for the surprise attack has been achieved at Pearl Harbor. One of the most famous World War II lines, if not in all military history. So where are we? We're selecting a national focus. Is that the peaceful neutrality? 30 days, I guess. Tour de France. It's puppeted. Okay, let's save this a few times. Canada Stream Game. Just in case anything wonky happens again. Spanish Civil War. Okay, let's save it again just to make sure. Okay. Now, with the Spanish Civil War, I don't think there's an awful lot that I can really do. Really disciplined and even less trained. Oh. We'll work on all that later. Not a priority. Not a priority for Canada. Peaceful neutrality. We have construction done. Okay, 26% bonus there now. It's not a priority. That's not a priority. It's probably the best. Right there. And we have peaceful neutrality. The royal visit. Add stability, political power. The United States gets some bonuses as well. The National Film Board. Ministry of Mines, royal visit. Have to be at war before we get that. Well, let's go with this. Well, whatever that glitch was, it seems to have gone away. Okay, our oil is getting low. We're going to have to import some oil. It's going to be a lot easier to get that from the United States. Looks like we need more than that. Thought that went through. Light infantry trucks. 13%, 39%, 26 for the machine guns, 50 for the artillery. We'll do that. Okay, we need more oil. Yeah, we don't need that much. That's good enough. Supply the Empire. Everything's still negative. Modified Great Depression. Factory outputs are up. That looks good. Okay, we've got 200 points. We're going to need an army commander. Army defense, offense, old guard. Army experience gain minus 10%. Yuck. Division defense. Oh, man. Well, looks like we go with McNaughton. No. We'll go with perks. Oh, there we go. Send volunteers. You can do that. Really are starting with virtually nothing here. I mean, these district militias. %13 of equipment. 54% in the cavalry. Wow. No horse transport, no light artillery, very little garrison equipment, no field uniforms, no cavalry equipment, no support equipment. Quality control. We want to get in here. Unless there's something that's shatteringly great. $26. I think we better get into this. There's our dual purpose. %13. Don't need medium and large guns. Damage control. That. Well, if I'm dealing with just 13%ers, that's a good one. Roswell, Cirrhosis Commission. I've got to get over here, so I've got to get into here sometime. Combat the Depression. That's an important one. Gotta do that too at some point. Hey, the 18-pounders. %. 50% for the maintenance company. Probably one of the better options. 26 on the machine gun. We'll go with the maintenance company. We're going to need it eventually. Get it on sale, 50% off. Fighter strafing. That's a World War I tech. I don't think there's any bonuses left on any of these. Found the National Film Board. Brought to you by the National Film Board of Canada. A lot of foundational stuff. China Soviet Republic. Yeah. It's over there. Don't need to worry about that. It's over there. Okay, we have officer. We can get another land theorists. Looks like we have a choice of one. That's who we get. Oh, forgot to update my equipment. Anti-Common Turn Pact. I'm not going to sign that. Germany gets a worse opinion of me. So be it. Germany. Oh, American president's in Rio. Good for him. Hope he's got a nice holiday. Nobel Prize. Maintenance company. Not too concerned with MPs. Guess we're getting a little caught up. Let's get the machine guns. Combat the depression. World stability. Trotsky expelled. Okay, we have one of our ships is done. Let's take that and transfer it to a new unit. We'll put you in charge. Doesn't matter who, really. Okay, and we will set you to train, and you are a training force. Okay, we've got 9 points. I think what we can probably do with that 9 points is make a better ship. Not enough to do a new class. 1936 December. Not an awful lot. I know I can do that. I can go to a 4 there. I can go to a 2 with the anti-submarine. That's 4 points. We can increase the heavy anti-aircraft gun. That's 5 points. And I can add a light. That's 8 points. I don't think there's anything else for 1 point I can really change. Does anything. So it's a Saginaw December 1936 edition. We'll save that. And we'll go to our original 2. And we'll start upgrading 1. Hawker Hurricane Mark 1. A splendid machine. Oh, I can get in here. Okay. My first big decision. Battlefield support, operational integrity, or strategic destruction. This essentially is better on the ground support. Strategic destruction is the heavy bomber approach. And the operational integrity. Hello, Master Sam. First time chat. Thanks for showing up. Let me know if you have any questions about the Canadian playthrough. Oh, Bonnie says hi. That's one of my Green Sheep Conniers. Oh, both of them are here now. Our first big decision. I think I'm going to go with the heavy bombing campaign. Okay, you two. What's it all about, huh? Yeah, why don't you go get your din-din? Go get your din-din. Go on. You don't have to stay here by the microphone. No, go away. Shoo. This is a very slow development, Canada. Hey, I've got enough mortars now. Combating the Depression. A good company over there. Tips and tricks for successful gameplay. They just like to be part of the conversation. So if I'm talking, they think I'm talking to them, obviously, and they have to talk back. Right? Because you're pretty birds. Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Yeah. Okay, I can hear you two. I don't know whether everybody else wants to hear you. Why don't you go? Go fly. Go on. You don't have to sit on my arm as I'm playing the game. Okay, this is our annual thing that comes up here. And I think I want to add more stability again for now. Okay, my fuel's about full. I don't know whether I need 0 or 1. Concentrated industry. Oh, 52% now. Yeah, start rolling in the Production efficiency growth. Got to get those factories producing stuff. I'm a BICE player. Yes, very, very much a BICE player. Road to 56 is not a bad thing. It allows you, I think, for a longer game. Larger amount of focus tree. Yeah, much longer game. That's one of the benefits of Road to 56. It gives you a much broader overall approach to it. I like Black Ice with the detailed amount of tank and ship design work. Oh, Clyde doesn't like it at all, apparently. I do have tutorials out on Black Ice on my YouTube channel if you are interested in such. If you want to learn more or get an overview of Black Ice, I've done one for the German tech tree and one for the Canadian, focus tree, German focus tree and the Canadian focus tree, and I'm going to be providing more of those. And I've got a few others that are in there as well. So if you just don't think you're familiar enough with Black Ice, glance those over. Okay, my oil's still going up, so I can literally eliminate that for now. And I've got 188. Research speed up. I don't know if it has a focus tree for Brazil. I would think no. I don't think it has a focus tree for any of the South American countries. It's got the major secondaries and definitely all of the major powers. And the Canadian focus tree is very, very good. I'm a retired Canadian military historian, and it really identifies a lot of the uniqueness. The British Commonwealth Air Training Program, the naval expansion, the political difficulties between English and French Canada, all of them show up in the focus tree. In more than just a minor way. How Canada was involved in the nuclear aspect of World War II. All very, very interesting parts of the uniqueness, and customizing that in the focus tree for playing Canada can really have an effect on World War II in different ways. It's 1937 still. Gonna need it. Get it. No, but Black Ice is more about the twists and turns that could have actually happened. It's not about the extreme what ifs. Black Ice is about the most plausible alternatives and the way it historically happened. The Royal Tour. Long live the king. Chiang Kai-shek had committed genocide in Cambodia. Well, not everything he did in China was good, but he didn't cause genocide. Some say he caused a form of genocide in there were deaths in China during his time period, and really it's his predecessor that came after him that was really quiet working man through the whole thing, and they've kept people like Chiang Kai-shek more importantly than the other developments in China over the years. But genocide in Cambodia. Yeah. Oh, Cambodia was a mess during the Cold War era. Absolute mess. Oh, I gotta get that done too. So World War II, World War I, the Cold War era, War of 1812 are my specialties. Can I ask, where are you a student? Are you a Canadian? Are you an American? Are you European? Where are you a student? And what level? What level are you studying? I have mortars. That's about it. Okay. I've got to get 5% world tension. Yeah. 4% world tension. Brazilian. I just watched a documentary about some of your indigenous people and the difficulties that the gold miners were doing once the road was cut deep through the Amazon, and the difficulties in that area for the indigenous peoples of the inner part of Brazil. We're going to do that. We need trains. We only have 1 or 2 spares. I'm not familiar with where that state is within Brazil. So I don't know which part of the country. I know the general geography, and I know a lot of the larger metropolitan areas are all along the coast. So I know how important the Amazon basin is, and navigating the Amazon basin, and I know some of the economical stuff that's gone on there in the last 50 years. I'm a little bit more knowledgeable than the average guy on the street about Brazil, but I'm not an expert. Southeastern region, close to Rio. Oh, it's in the game map too. Well, they've redone this map here. So there's Rio, St. Paulo. There you are. Okay, so you're in this region here, and you're along the coast. Okay, so you're north of Rio. Cool. And you're in your fall season now. You're Southern Hemisphere. Mind you, you're a lot closer to the equator, so spring, summer, and fall is not the temperature changes like you get here in Canada. Oh, land of the great north. Well, thank you for sharing that. Overall, I thought Brazil had a reasonably good education program overall. I thought there was a good amount of people attend university with good degrees. My green cheek conures actually would come from the northwest of your country, in the Venezuela area. I guess that'd be their native area. So in a way, they're kind of Brazilian heritage. I'm sure they had ancestors that flew in some of the forests of Brazil. A Nordic country. Yes. Yeah, well, there are 8 nations involved with the Nordic Alliance about the North Ice Pack and all the North Pole stuff, and Canada is very, very big on that. We have a lot of issues because of being to the north. Okay, so we got that. 13%. I may go into cruisers. The state boundaries are incorrect in the mod. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say the developers of Black Ice pay a lot of attention to current and historic boundaries being 100% correct, particularly in non-European areas. I mean, talk about incorrect. Halifax is the major East Coast harbor in this time period in Canada. And they've got the little port symbol here on the bay side, on the inside, right? The Bay of Fundy side, not the Atlantic side. And it's an Atlantic port. And that just irritates me. I mean, it's technically the same sea zone, but it should be over here, not up there. So yeah, they've got their problems. Okay, well, let's start. This is going to take a long time. This game's about all the development until like 1940, 1941. You don't really have a military in Canada until that time period, really. Okay, I can get my own oil. Then I won't have to import it. Let's do that. Oh, let's get another minister in place. Base stability plus 3%. Compliance growth speed plus 5. Daily ruling party support. Base stability 3%. Resistance activity minus 7.5. Police station construction speed plus 10. Well, let's go with him. Yeah. Something like 95% of Canadians live within 100 miles of our southern border. So if you take this line that is the southern extreme of our country, right, like this, and extend it out, you know, so if you take this line like this here, right, out and over and out here, blah, 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 blah. 95% of the people live within 100 miles of that line. So we have a lot of land that has resources. So there's small towns that do resources, kind of like the inner part of Brazil. But the cold temperature has really hampered things of development. Canada was formed out of the refugees of the world. A number of indigenous people moved up here when their tribes were beat up. During the American War of Independence, the losers that backed the British, including the First Nations, came up to Canada. A lot of French people that were not accepted in France came to Quebec. And after that, the Irish, the Scottish, the Europeans, and then after World War II, you have the South Asians, the Vietnamese, the Cambodians, the Pakistanis, you know, all the people trying to get away from those troubles. So Canada is made by a few opportunists and the refugees of the world. So we didn't become a superpower because I think in some ways we don't trust the big picture. And we've got more of a common consensus. That's why we have a lot of socialist programs compared to the United States. Our healthcare in particular, which is something everybody will talk about, the differences between Canada and the U.S. Oh, I need 5 more World War I techs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 5th one? Where's the 5th tech? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, well, there's a 5th one, but I can't get it. These are 57 days. Spend 5 to speed it up. Don't bother. The Canadian Republican movement. Okay, I think you're referring to the right-wing, strong conservative movement. Similar to American right-wing politics, Trumpism, I guess, if it, in the United States. Yeah, you birdies, have your opinion. Go ahead. What do I think about it? I believe in balanced politics. I believe in listening to the far right, the far left, the people in the middle, the people to the left of center, the people to the right of center, and coming up with a consensus of what's needed on that particular issue. I believe Canada needs more support for its military in the current world. I believe we need to help other countries around the world, and I don't think we can make things better in the top countries of the world until we make it better for the medium countries. And in order to make it better for the medium countries, we need to make things better in the poor third world countries. So, Canadian right-wing politics, what do I think? It has a place, and sometimes the issues are very correct. A stronger military, for instance, is a Canadian conservative, we don't use the term Republican. That's a very American term. I guess the Canadian closest equivalent would be conservative. America. Yeah, well, the two continents are the Americas. I have to agree with you like that. Nobody calls themselves they call themselves Americans and call the country America. They don't call it the United States. They call it America. No place else in the world calls it America. And Canadians don't say we're going to America. We say we're going to the United States. Compromising North. Oh, I agree with you 100%. That's the world view. It's the Americans that have a distorted view different than the rest of the world. Confusing at first. Yes, very. Yeah. No, Canadians definitely agree with your viewpoint there. We see it as the United States, not America. America, in the traditional European viewpoint, refers to all of North America, traditionally. In the British viewpoint, if you go into the rest of Europe, they don't use the term America, they use Americas, referring to the two continents and the Caribbean islands. So I think Canada has more of the British and the European view of that term America. Oh, what do we got done? Oh, that's our ship that was getting rebuilt. We'll start the other one now. Oh, and that one can get rejoined. The popular name of Columbia, United States of Columbia, even their federal district in Washington, D.C. Yeah, the District of Columbia. Yeah. Columbia is almost a lost term in the United States. Over my life, and I'm over 60, over my life I've traveled a lot in particularly the eastern half of the United States. I live around here, in this area, in southern Ontario, kind of this geographic part of southern Ontario, kind of in the center. So I'm sandwiched between two parts of the USA. This is kind of, we call it the Banana Belt. It probably has the mildest weather, this area along this Lake Erie here. It's got the mildest weather, southern Ontario, this whole region, next to the Vancouver and Vancouver Island area. This is probably the most nice, warm climate in Canada. And this area is probably the second here. This is flat land, floodplain. You could have 300 feet of soil here in places. And then you get up here into the Canadian Shield, which is all rocks and trees and water. We have coniferous forests naturally covering the entire area, but since the early 1800s, it's been settled, the forests have cleared, and we are a breadbasket. We grow all kinds of crops. Agriculture is dominant. but our main cities are here and industry. So we have a lot of competing between industry and farmland in my home region here. King meets Hitler. That's the prime minister. Oh. Appeasement will work because I get political power. Not that I personally believe in appeasement will work. But as far as the game goes, it's my better option. Amelia Earhart disappears. Poor lady. She's gone forever. Oh. Motorized headquarters. Okay. And we have another ship done already. Okay, and we need to separate that one off. And send him up to do some training. There's a lot of, well, there's a couple of early American patriotic songs with the word Columbia in it. And they're not even known by the Americans today. But if you go back into the 1700s, the early 1800s, the term Columbia was still in use after the first conception of the use of the word. We'll get back to that in a second. Motorized headquarters. Oh, hush up. Stop. That's here. No, I guess I'm... Oh, I'm over here. Medium guns, 13%. Not 1938 yet, it's still 1937. Well, I'm going to do the infantry gun. Dockyards 1. Gotta go, take care. Hopefully see you again. Been a good chat. Dockyards 1. Guess we're going here. Why isn't this sorting itself out? Because they're probably getting repaired. Okay, we have air superiority, infrastructure destruction, or home defense. Interception, let's do that one. Anti-tank traps, that's the World War I text we're catching up on. And I'm not seeing off the focus tree. Crown Corporations gets me C.D. Howe as economic minister. Available. And 2 and 2 factories. Let's do that. Guess we're going to have to start designing a military unit soon. Enough points to design anything, really. Kind of in a bad spot. Crown Corporations, improved cruiser, design speed. Let's deal with that first. And 13% wherever I go. Crown Corporations. Dockyard factory output up. While building construction faster, military construction speed up 5%. Factories, 2 civilian factories. I don't want them both. Oh, I need all of this stuff. Okay, so what do I have the biggest shortage of? Armored cars. What am I not making? Cavalry equipment, armored cars. trains. Okay. So let's deal with, well, the uniforms is one of the most basic. The machine guns. What am I not making? Machine guns? Making machine guns? Why not? Yeah, making machine guns. Picard equipment, support equipment, uniforms. Let's get going with the uniforms. Economic Minister, C.D. Howe. His nickname was the Minister of Everything. He had his hands in all the wartime activities. He was very, very important. Very, very hard worker. Very bright man that did an awful lot. Yeah, we'll take C.D. Howe. And a political advisor. Weekly war support. Not that that's going to do much now. Consumer goods to factories, -2. Opposition goes up though. Base stability +10%. I'm not giving support to the Republicans. I know you're going to fall. You're not going to make it. My economy is bad as enough as it is. That doesn't matter to me. My Navy's not big enough. That doesn't matter. Hey, you dropped that bottle off my table there, Birdie. That's 2 stability when removed. Let's do that. And let's do that to get our stability up a little bit. What are you guys on about? You're not normally this loud when I'm streaming. What do you want? Well, you're going to have to use human talk because the yelling isn't working it. Oh, you want a snack? Okay. Well, I'm going to take a birdie break here for a minute and a half. And I'm back. We'll see if that makes the birdies happy. We've got some some little pieces of sliced cheese and some celery. Or are they just going to go over to their food bin and get what's in there? But I had to go get a snack. And now you're going to go eat in your cage. Okay, fine. Have it your way. I got your cheese over here. I know how much you like it, but you go eat what I gave you for lunch. We got 21 points. I don't have my cruisers developed enough, and I don't have the points to put into it. He's refitting. They're done. That's all I got is the 4 ships. Yeah, that's all I could do is increase the damage control on them. We'll do that. That's not going to take very long. Okay, let's do that. That'll give me the points to create at least an escort. Well, my fuel is full. I might as well train those few air guys that I have. Powder Mark IIs. October 37. Motorcycle infantry. go. What do we got here? Still minus 59%. Man, forever to build anything up pre-war here. Halifax shipyards. Give me 15 more naval experience. I'll make a better complete ship, and I have to wait 12 days. I think I need to get that done just to get the naval experience. Okay. Don't need the tungsten yet. So now, what I can do is I can design a large escort. And this is going to be 1937 October design. These need to be long range. I want the HADP guns. I don't need 5. I don't need an awful lot. We'll go with just 2 guns. And we'll go with the 4-inch. These are massively anti-submarine vessels. They don't have to be fast at all. They're only keeping up with the convoys. And they're going against U-boats. So these are my version of a corvette. Another gun. Torpedoes, more anti-air. with light anti-air. Name them after historical Corvettes, I guess. And that's enough points to design that. Okay, so I'm just going to label these as 3 ASW, 3 AA. So these are strictly convoy defense against submarine and air attack. They do have guns, just not many. Keep building those. Forever. What's that do to my steel? Steel's in line still. Cool. Yeah, cool. Excellent. Communist coup in Ecuador. I think I'll build more escorts, but not full like that. We're going to cut that down one. We'll continue our rebuilds. As well. There we go. Okay, there's our army, our Navy upgrade for 1937. Engine factory. Don't think I need an engine factory yet. The Housing Act. That's looking good development. Oh, I'm low on still low. Gotta go to 4. Okay, I'm getting up to my steel limit. I'm gonna have to do those steel mills. Like gun barrel. 13% on the mediums. Heavy AAs. Do I want to get into heavy AAs? don't think I need MPs. Not going to be my role. Slightly ahead of time, but a 30% bonus. We're not developing them yet, but we are doing that. So that, I guess, is my choice. How's the equipment coming along? Hey, we got horse transport. I know we have infantry guns. We've got mortars. The Hindenburg disaster. Oh, the humanity! Take forever to get a decent army. Tool maintenance. Another economic minister. Mineral resource extraction rate goes up. Quartermaster General. That's all construction. Stability up 2. Factory repair speed up. Infrastructure. Oh. Do that. Nobel Prize. Italy storms out of the league. National Housing Act. What you want, Clyde? Maritime Railway, Yukon Tungsten. You're back! Well, greetings and salutations on your return. Bonnie and Clyde say hi too. DR Pugwolf. You have an interest in Canada or Black Ice or just Hearts and Iron 4 in general? Okay. Strong municipal. Improve access to electricity, I don't need. Infrastructure, Vancouver Island, yeah. Building slots. Let's go for the stability again. Still down 0.2. You got Road to 56. Is it any good? A lot of people highly recommend it. I don't. It's been around a good length of time. I haven't played it. I've looked at it. As near as I can tell, it is one of the better total rework mods out there. It's a lot of large tech trees that go on for a much longer period of time. So if you want a longer game, it's good. That's what I've heard about it. I have not played a long campaign in Road to 56. It's very popular, and a lot of people do talk highly of it. So everything I hear is good about Road to 56. So the answer to your question short, is it any good? Yeah, it is any good. I prefer Black Ice, though. I'm a... if I was really into alternate history, I might do 56. I think it allows more alternate stuff than Black Ice does. We're going to keep developing the cruisers. Canadian wheat board. Canadian wheat board. Oh, my grandpa went west in the 80s to the prairies where the grain grows like grass. But the wheat boards and freight rates got grandpa, so we moved back east second class. Come and pay for my fare if you love me, and I'll hasten to bid you adieu, and say farewell to the Red River Valley, with its residents all shivering in blue. That would be Winnipeg, or as we affectionately call it in Canada, Winterpeg. Develop the prairies for grain. Well, now that we have the wheat board, we can do that. Industrial farms, weekly stability up. Overall, I need that. Adrian, oh no, he unites the fascists. The fascists are growing in popularity in Canada. Imagine that. The Bloomberg affair. Ah, yeah. We're almost done these World War I techs. 13% on that one, and 50% on that one. Not going to get better than 50%. Develop the prairies. What are we going to develop them into? Sorry, that was an Eastern Canadian slight against the West. Sorry about that, all you Canadians out west. Weekly stability, daily opposition, extraction. Oh, I want that as well. Oh, but I also need... oh, we'll do this one first. That's such a big infantry unit. It's such a big change from this. Combat engineers. Don't know if I'm going to get into combat engineers. That's my best bet right there for now. Hello, Bonnie. Come sit on my wrist, are you? Oh, there goes Austria. Deal with the Dust Bowl. I need that. Or do I need that first? Let's deal with the Dust Bowl. Early 1938, it's all about rescuing the prairies. Home defense. 1938, we're up to... We're progressing. We're not building any military, but we're progressing in what we can do. Hey, finally some improvements. Okay, I think everything's been upgraded. Yep, everything's been upgraded. So we can put that in there. Put that. And another military factory. Put that one over here. And what will we do with another military factory? I know, we're going to build trucks. Okay, we're starting to show some ability in our stuff. We have recon equipment, mortars, horse transport, machine guns, infantry guns. So let's modify this. We'll just call this a garrison. Infantry unit. Okay, and we'll change its symbol to that. And we will add in It's a defensive unit, so reconnaissance or blah, and engineering and a reconnaissance regular. How many points do I have? 50. I want to make these into regular infantry. Okay, so I want to convert all of my district garrisons into these, and that's 50 points just to do that. Wow. Okay. That's my home area. That's why I do that one first. And other than the mortars, I've got none of the other equipment available. Don't know whether I want combat engineers. I'm going to want them. I just don't know whether I want them yet. Medium artillery. That's a possibility. Heavy AA. I guess that's a possibility. Combat engineer is a possibility. I am going to want that. That's a 43%. Desert warfare equipment. Well, I won't need that until I get to Afghanistan. I think that's really the first time in Canadian history when we used any desert warfare equipment. So it's a long way from the Afghanistan campaign. So don't need that. Concentrated Infantry 2. Submarine workshops. We're not getting into submarines. 26% for construction 2. Yeah, we need all these and they're 50%, so we'll take it. Okay, we've got lots of points. Domestic minister. Pensions and national health. Plus weekly stability. Well, that's the highlight of that. Monthly population growth is good. Innovation and average politician, great chemist. Research points, don't like the negatives there. Go with him. My stability will save itself over time. Should really get these. Eliminated war propaganda. I mean, my war support is minus 0.3. There's no sense doing anything yet at all. We need a rubber. Deal with the Dust Bowl. We dealt with the Dust Bowl. Okay. Civilian factories. Oh, I need this steel before long. Let's get that going. We'll finish that one boat. We'll build another. Keep these one at a time. Yeah, he's done. Better implement those. Keep chugging along. Bloody Sunday. Oh no! Yeah. Goma Steel. Now that gives me a research slot. For tank techs. Might be nice to have that early. Although I do need to start getting down here. I think I'll take the 33 days now and do that. I'm not going to have an incredible Canadian army early in the war. I will not be defending France, I don't think. Denmark 1. June 1939. Still ahead of time, but a 30% bonus. Oh, I am going to want anti-tank rifles. Let's get that one started. Okay, we got the cruiser. We need that. And then we can make a cruiser. Or two. Okay, what do we got here? Head of Intelligence and Foreign Minister. Not too impressed. Can't use Louis Saint Laurent yet. Mastermind Codebreaker. Operative Recruitment +1. Operative Slots +1. Decryption Power. Operative Slots +1. Operative Recruit Choice +1. Base Stability +2 as well. We're going to go with him. Fortress Defenses. Well, I'd better get going on this. Well, they gave me a research slot. Oh, maybe expanded one so it can do tanks. Improved machine tools. Yeah, I better move towards the radio equipment too. Okay, I actually have what need? You two sit right there. Yeah, don't jump on the keyboard. Don't jump on the keyboard. Armored cars. But I don't have a tank production. So that would be awkward. I need to get more uniforms. More infantry equipment. More steel. Can do it with 4. I just need more. I'm going to have to start supplying my own stuff soon. Legacy of the Great War. French-speaking divisions. Canadian Infantry Corps. CMP Truck. Camp X. shipyard. Not quite ready to expand that. Possibility of fission, I can always do. Well, tension just isn't high enough for all this stuff yet. Mining rights. That gets me bauxite. Well, I need that in the long run, but I don't need it right now. When you're ahead of time, gives a 45% reachment bonus if ahead of time. Motorized army, engine factory. Okay. Dust Bowl. Yay. So how is my unit 54% of stuff it needs is there. Severely lacking uniforms, infantry equipment, cavalry equipment. Got emergency vehicles outside today, a lot. Something's going on. That's very unusual around here. That's fire trucks. I'm on the main street of the city, so they use this road quite regularly. As long as I don't stop right here. There's the big City Hall clock. Ringing off 7 times for 7 p.m. Eastern Time Zone here. Okay, we're not ready for the cruiser yet. Another escort. You guys think so? Nice to know I got the birdie's opinion on these things. Look, another thing I don't have any of to make. I got the 1 year ahead of time on that. Motorized equipment, yeah, that's not a big deal. Not quite ready for that. do the Lewis gun next. Terrible. New England Hurricane. Okay. Am I done all these now? I'm not. $66 of 67. Where's the one I haven't done? Oh, it's just not reading it yet because it's not the end of day. Let it go for one day. Now it should read it. Yeah. Okay, so my second big choice. I don't have to make it. I could do this first. Might be a decent choice. It'll give me another 337 days to make the choice. We'll do that. Gets me the bauxite I'm going to need. Don't need that. I don't need that yet. I don't need that yet. Don't need that yet. I don't need that. Blocked over here. I don't really want to do that nuclear weapon thing. I want that, and I'm going to have to do all of these. Don't need the engine factory yet. So, I hear ya. Thanks, Clyde. I didn't need that in the side of my head. Not really. Radios. This will open up a bunch of things. Should get that. The Munich Agreement. Yugoslavia claims Bulgaria. Britain and France announce an alliance. Okay. I've got one minister left, foreign minister, and I don't care, really. Ship designer. I'm going to build a new ship shortly. Atlantic Fleet, Pacific Fleet, ship manufacturer, escort fleet designer, torpedo boats, escort ships, destroyers. Maximum range, higher depth charges. Atlantic Fleet. Carriers I don't have, capital I don't have, large cruisers I don't have. Light carriers I don't have. So that isn't really a choice. Neither's that. So West Coast Shipbuilding. Naval experience gain 0.5, which I get here. Well, there's no choice. This gets me stuff and this gets me nothing. Has to be that one. French-speaking divisions. Army modernization. Now we also have the ability to make that cruiser now. Improved airplane catapult. Minor help. 1938. That would be good. That would be good. That would be useful. That would be useful. No bonuses. Don't really need mines. Don't have a lot of torpedoes. Improved fire control. Enables improved director and mechanical range keeper and the basic AA fire control. I guess that's what I need. Yeah, I know I have no template for handheld anti-tanks. The Lewis gun. I have the Lewis gun. And we want 3-inch mortars. Start making radios. How is my one upgraded unit doing? Absolutely crap. 67%. Well, you know what? The time has come to start them training at least. Okay, I don't need the support as much as I used to. I don't need the electrical. Political power is kind of a standby. Building slot increase, yeah. Infrastructure in Alberta. We'll do that. Naval strike tactics. And this would be ahead of time. So any planes I now want to do. It is 1938. 39% on the Spitfire. Yeah. We'll do that. Army modernization. Okay. I'm at the point where I'm going to be able to start that cruiser, so I think that's going to be helpful. Get another naval slot. You two agree? Bonnie and Clyde, huh? Okay, glad you approve. You too, okay. Yep. Infantry radios. Gonna want that desperately. Industrial concern, electrical concern. Radio technologies plus 14%. Electronic research is up 10. Let's go with that. The Lima Conference. Okay, so that gets me the extra building slot. I'm not going anywhere until there's more than 9% world tension now. I think that's a good prep move. It does add a military factory. Now I have another naval to play with. It's almost done. So I think we can design a new light cruiser. It's going to be a light cruiser. Interwar design. Designed 1938 December. That. I do want these to be long range as well. I'm going to want a reasonable engine, but not a huge engine. Let's try 100,000 for now and see how that turns out. I want to withstand something, but I don't need it heavy. Lots of dual purpose guns. I'll go with 9. Don't have that yet. Okay. Needs to have some anti-warfare. You're back! It was replaced by a live stream on YouTube. It's not your thing? Spending time on YouTube learning about LGBT plus diversity needs at the workplace. Well, if you're a student, you're not in the workplace yet. You already know a lot about it and use common sense. Also, there is no present list to be checked, and I'm sure I've been learning more talking to Grandpa Canuck about HOI4. Yeah, well, I have a family member who is very involved with the LGBTQ plus community. I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to lecture you like your YouTube. But anything you want to talk about is fine. I enjoy the pleasant conversation. I'm designing a light cruiser right now. I've only got 43 points. Guess I should have some form of air reconnaissance. That's 42 of my 43 points, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And these are light cruisers. We will name them after historical light cruisers that are Canadian, of course. There we go. And it's the HMCS Ontario. Oh, now I'm going to be short alloying metals and iron. And I probably want to do that because that's going to show me how much I'm going to need shortly. Yeah. So let's solve that issue. The iron we can make. Okay, what are you guys squawking about? I don't know what you want. You're not being very cooperative. That should make that go okay. And I'm going to have to do something with this. Where do I want to get this from? I think the United States might be the easiest. I'll go with England. Yep. That actually makes it so like, whoop. You can actually do that as well. So that gives it 6. You're designing a ship. Also, you proceeds to open ship designer tab. Very clever, aren't you? Glad you're doing well. What type of ship are you designing? What year in the game? %. Gee. It's not there yet. How did I know that was coming up? So I've got my interwar cruiser getting built. I'm constantly building large escorts. And I've got 1 unit I can work with. Do I want to start a second cruiser? First of all, let's get that there. Put that up top. I don't think I have anything I can really upgrade. I don't think I've gotten anything that can upgrade the escorts yet. Let's take a look. No, not really. Okay, so where do we go from here? Build another escort, start another cruiser. I only have 2 points, so I can't really do anything else. Huh. You can call me Grandpa. That's part. You can call me Grandpa. You can call me Canuck. That's the online name I use. I'm an old Canadian guy, and I'm social enough to be Grandpa to anybody who's. Oh, let's see. I'm in my first half of my 60s. So if I started young at 17, let's see. That was. My grandson is, yeah, anybody under 23, 25 can call me Grandpa. A better country to live than the U.S.? That's a question mark. I've seen many people complaining about it, specifically in the Greater Toronto area. Is that like intended to scare people away or actually true? You're 23. Well, if I started early, my son started early, And if we both started early, 23 could be there, because I do have a grandson who is 17. Well, Toronto being the largest city in the country means it's different than the rest of the country. So, those of us not in Toronto love to tease and say we hate Toronto. It's more in fun. Toronto is the big city of the country. I mean, it's, what is it, the 4th largest city in all of North America? There's only 3 American cities that are bigger than it. LA, Toronto, and what's the big one? Chicago? Is that the 3rd biggest U.S. city? It's bigger than all the other cities in the U.S. So we tease Toronto that we hate it. How much do we hate it on a scale of 1 to 10? 1. How much does the average Canadian hate American big cities? 6. So is it to scare Americans away? No. It's just a statement that is probably saying we think smaller cities in Canada are better than Toronto. That's all. Toronto's got a lot of great things going for it as far as big cities go. I've been through several American large cities, and I think Toronto has a lot nicer things. It's got a much lower crime rate than any other large city in North America. We'll do that here. And everything looks good. Okay, so we'll build 2 light cruisers. We'll see where that takes us. And we've got 1 left over for building escorts. So that's what we'll do. Oh boy, Toronto. Some of the reasons. Okay, let me just explain something. Toronto is here. Okay, I live here. It's about a 2-hour drive on a 6-lane highway to get there, but parts of the highway are 8 to 10 lanes in through a couple of cities. When you get to Toronto, at the edge of the area, it's called the 401, Highway 401. It is averaged between 10 and 22 lanes. There's actually 2 sets of road going east and 2 sets of road going west, plus on-ramps, plus expansions to that. So if there is 4 lanes, 8 and 8, 4 lanes on each of the main thoroughfare and the secondary lanes, okay, we call them the collectors, that's 16. And that's normal as a minimum through the center part of Toronto. So driving on that roadway is something the people from the other parts of Canada think is crazy. And that's one reason why people complain about Toronto. It's the traffic. It's the most traveled amount of traffic on a single road in the world, I believe. Anyway, Highway 401. You can Google the reference, look up the video cameras, see some of the great pileups over time, whatever you want to do as far as traffic goes. The CN Tower, the ROM, the Royal Ontario Museum. There's all kinds of heritage sites. Fort York, War of 1812 site, right in the middle of the city, well preserved. There's some incredible entertainment spots. Multiculturalism in Toronto. There are people in Toronto from every country in the world. there are large districts to different ethnic areas, very culturally diverse. If you're not open to ethnic diversity, if you're not open to the LGBTQ plus, as one of the prior people made a comment, if you don't like diversity, you probably won't like Toronto because it is diverse, and it's on the water. What about you, Bonnie and Clyde? You like Toronto? You ever been there? No? Okay. Well, I'll take you if you want. No? You want to stay here in the little city? Okay. I won't sell you off to people in Toronto then. Or as we say in the slang, Tirana. Canadian slang would pronounce it more like Tirana. Not Toronto, which would be the historic way of saying it. And we have nicknames for it. We got nicknames for every place. Winnipeg is Winterpeg. Toronto could be called the Six because of the 6 boroughs that originally started it. It could be called Hogtown. There's all kinds of nicknames for it. Okay, we've got the 3-inch mortar. When I used to be at work, the outdated ones I just stopped making there, the 2-inch mortars, I used as a paperweight a 2-inch mortar shell. That was the paperweight on my desk. Yes, I'm a retired Canadian military museum historian. January 1939. I think I'd better get going with that. You've been thinking about moving out of Brazil, so I've also thought of the Nordic countries, Norway, more specifically. Since you know about the past, do you have any thoughts about the future of Scandinavia? Like, they are starting to reject neutrality and embracing NATO due to Russia's aggression. Do you think it's a good idea to move there in today's world, or maybe should I stay in the Americas? Well, that's a personal choice, and there's a lot of things. What do I think of the Nordic countries? Norway has been a part of NATO almost since the very, very beginning. So their stance politically, the people I talked to in Sweden, and I've only talked to 1 or 2 people from Finland in the last couple of years, their viewpoint of anti-aggression isn't anti-Russian, it's anti-Putin. And the view of neutrality is strictly led by the current political situation. So that could reverse if the tension between Putin and the West changes. That's my feeling. All of the Nordic countries, Sweden and Norway, have good social programs for social living stuff, open communities. They both have a fair bit of immigration. Sweden and Norway, you better like blonde people. If you don't like blonde people around you, you won't like those countries. So I think if the political climate changes, I think their neutrality will come more forward again. That's my opinion. Anybody wants to chime in about that? Feel free. Choice of the tank manufacturer. World tension is still only 7%. Getting limited. Off the keyboard, Clyde. Don't hit the keys. You might disconnect me from the people. It was an advantage during World War II, the distance between Europe and Canada. You don't want near the war zone if World War III ever happens. Well, I mean, even the United States could have a civil war. There's lots of people who talk about that. So being in Mexico, Canada, the Caribbean islands, and Canada could be affected by, if the Americans get into any type of civil war, internal conflict, it won't necessarily overflow, but it'll have significant impacts. European war, I guess the farther west you are, the less likely of being on the front lines. If there's a world war, does it matter whether you're in Brazil? Well, maybe you'll have to go to a refugee camp in the middle of the Amazon. There's a lot of resources in Brazil, and it makes it likely targets, secondary targets overall. So I don't know whether there's any good place if World War III ever happens. It depends on the scale of World War III. And that cannot be answered until the stupidity happens. I think we'll go there. Okay. We've got the handheld anti-tanks. We got radios. We got trucks. Is there anything we're not making? Cavalry equipment. If I recall. Yeah, cavalry equipment. We need to start making cavalry equipment again. Okay, what's the equipment level now of this unit? 73%. And it's missing infantry equipment, uniforms, that's basic stables. It's missing 3 things. Okay. Let's look at starting to change this into this. So that is really basically 6 motorized. I think we have to have go-betweens between this and that. So this is going to be semi-motor. And it'll be classified as a motorized division. We can leave the armored cars, which we don't have. And we'll make these into semi-motorized. We'll leave you as reconnaissance cavalry. And we need to add artillery We're going to want it motorized. So I think, what can we do here with the headquarters? Headquarters by car. That's 55 points. That's all I can do. Okay, so this is semi-motorized, which is a 1 dot if I'm using the NATO symbols. It's not huge, so we'll make it a smaller sized unit. The distances of the America in relation to Europe was an advantage during World War II. It was also a disadvantage. It meant we had to use a lot of resources to get things from here to there. So the entire Canadian Navy, the Merchant Marine, all the resources into those ships that had to be built would have been a lot less if it was less distance. So in that case, it was not a benefit or an advantage. It was an advantage for safety, so that Britain could send all of its high nuclear tech people to the United States and not have a fear of an accidental bomb killing them like you had in everywhere in England. You think, okay, believe in God and think that World War III could be the last world war in human history. I think God has been protecting us from greater evil for some time. I'm one of those people who believe in an upcoming great tribulation period. Well, it could be a pandemic. It doesn't necessarily have to be war. It could be an economic crisis that'll make the Great Depression, look like a drop in the bucket. The way people have been behaving is getting us closer to doom by human hands. Environmental crisis as well. From Brazil, the impact of the burning that you're doing to raise beef, which is adding to methane and killing the forest, the economic impact. I'm sure you're well aware of that. Those are all things that could be more deadly than World War III. Okay, we can upgrade that to that. Let's take this unit and upgrade it. And we are short most of the motorized and infantry equipment and field uniforms. Okay, it looks like we have mortars and machine guns and infantry guns, not too bad. So we'll watch our levels on those 3 things. And we will cut out production of those at some point in time. Canada is very open to any personal beliefs, etc. You won't find the majority of people in Canada condemning you or endorsing you for your personal beliefs. It's very much to each their own. I think Sweden and Norway are fairly similar in that viewpoint as well. I can't say for Finland. Finland's a little different. I don't talk to people from Finland as much. Infantry radios. I have 18%. Well, I want that because of the Very slow development. I don't have a frontline combat unit ready, and I won't for months. The fault shouldn't be laid only on Brazil. No. I wasn't laying it just on Brazil. Not at all. Not at all. That was just an issue I know you're dealing with in Brazil. I mean, we've got enough problems converting farmland into urban pavement here in Canada. We deal with cutting down of our forests, particularly in British Columbia, an awful lot. We have old growth redwood, which are huge trees, which you cut down, it takes, 500 years to get another one back. So no, I wasn't centering out Brazil on that. And is there going to be demand? Yeah, because there's a lot of the world is capitalist. Therefore, demand means profit. Hey, birdies! And many countries are eating those beef. Darn right. And very corrupt. The corrupt is the problem. If it wasn't corrupt, the people would have more choice on the capitalist versus environmentalist issues, I'm sure. Okay, Spanish Civil War is over. And okay, anything new I need to build? Heavy transport trucks. I'm going to need heavy transport trucks. And light vehicles. And armored cars. So I think light vehicles is the place to start there. And my light vehicle of choice. And I'm down 2 steel. So I think the easiest way would be to import more of that. Do that. That should solve that problem. Yeah, nicely solved. And, the Western world has a huge cry for beef. So, yeah, that's an economic thing that's a big moneymaker. And economies, until we give, as they say, a bottom line to the greenery of the world, and we try to understand that we need that ecological balance, places like Brazil with the corruption are going to have, problems with destroying the rainforest and putting up cow farms. Canada is going to have problems with cutting down the redwood trees, and the other large lumber to sell it for, in our case, it's urban development, selling it to the large cities throughout North America. Our wood and wood pulp resources are huge exports here in Canada. And that's directly coming out of our ecology here in this country. 9%. 9%. It needs to be over 9 for that. Montreal shipyards. Needs to be over 9 for the shadow factories. Over 40%. Autonomy progress over 40%. Guess I haven't been working towards that very well. I don't need all that aluminum yet. Don't need the hydropower. Don't need the Turner Valley oil field yet. Tungsten, I don't need yet. I'm going to need all these things. I guess that's the safe one, right there. The people voting for the corrupt politicians are the worst problem. I mean, since we are a democracy, politicians get elected. Lula, the current president, was once in prison and got freed up by the same Supreme Court that arrested him. That smells a lot like corruption. Yeah, it does. I know nothing of that situation. Thanks for informing me. That's what I need to know by talking from people around the world. I want to learn about these things. So, yeah. Now, how corrupt is it? Like, does the corruption go into the voting system? This is something that is coming to the forefront in the United States, or there's accusations of it, right? Not so much here in Canada. But there are a lot of countries around the world where corruption goes right into the voting system. So the democracy isn't the vote. To quote World War II sayings, Stalin said, it isn't important who gets the vote, it's important who counts the vote. Something like that. So it doesn't matter how people vote, it's how the vote is reported. So that's where your first level of corruption has to make sure that it's in line, as far as I'm concerned. I guess your police and your court system is fair as well. We have the Spitfire. Oh, the battle, close air support. My goodness. What a disaster of a plane. Lecture time. In the Battle of France, it was common. Well, it didn't happen very much to be common. Let's say it was almost universal. Every time a squadron of 15 battles went out to bomb a target, one would come back. 1 or 2 pilots would be rescued. The rest were totally destroyed over the target with no survivors, pretty much. Absolute disaster. I mean, wrong plane in use. Yeah, it was in 1937, but by 1940, it was absolutely useless. Not a very good plane. And here ends the lecture. Wellington Mark 1s. Well, if I'm going anywhere, I'm going to go into the Wellington Mark 1. The Supreme Court has been censoring any public demonstration of doubt about the truthfulness of the electronic voting machines by any politician or famous person. In Canada, we just started using a form of computers for our provincial, but not in our federal election, our provincial election in the province of Ontario, this area and this area. Federally, we still don't use computers at a polling station level. And only 2 elections have we used computerization. And at no time did the general public even touch the computers. It was only us staff that was running the election site. And as far as hacking into the mainframes and whatever else, not so easy to do. So anything questionable, even at the local level, when we counted the tabulator, could be questioned and randomly verified, which would cause further investigation. So we have a definite system made that is non-corrupt. Actually, Canada's been admired around the world for how it runs its elections, but it's not very efficient. It's not very time efficient. Poll workers have to work a 14-hour day straight, not leaving the site from beginning to end on our election days. Yeah, because it's still very, very manually done. There's ways of starting to computerize that, but it'll never be the click the machine electronic. There's always a paper trail in the Canadian system. So we don't have that kind of difficulty with the truthfulness of the vote. You're not against computers, but I think there should be a print version of our vote after voting, so that politicians could call for a recounting of the votes. I agree with you fully, and that's what we have. Even with the provincial elections that we had here for the last 2 provincial elections, what we had here was we would use computers to get all the information and hand you a piece of paper. You would make a mark on that piece of paper. That piece of paper goes through a tabulator machine, which goes back in and tabulates the votes. So at the end of the day, we know instantaneously the number of votes. That computer is isolated and cannot be accessed except through a very visible site at the polling station during the day. So until that data is transmitted upwards to get the results, so the tabulation is much quicker. The finding people that are on the voters list or to get them added to the voters list is much identifiably quicker and done quicker through our computer system. But we may very well be asked to count that, which is very old school, pieces of paper that are in that tabulator machine. They must be saved, sealed box with signatures by at least 2 people at the voting station, saved in a site by the person responsible for the district, and held for many years in case there's an investigation. So like I said, our system is not the most quickest and efficient, but it is virtually uncorruptible. And there is a paper trail. So I agree with your statement. There needs to be a paper trail for your vote. Yellow Life Gold Mines. Okay, I can do that. Army mobilization. Yeah, it's jumped up to 16%. Everything's went kaput here with the fall of Czechoslovakia. Yes, everything. Yes, I can mine the shield. I can mobilize the army. Let's start by mining the shield. Yukon Tungsten. Commonwealth Science. Department of Musicians and Supply. Now I have a large range of things available here in the game. Okay, so the fall of Czechoslovakia seems to get the tension to the point where Canadian government now believes there's going to be a war. It's the claiming of Memel shortly after, yep. Okay. Radios can start going into infantry battalions. You know what? You can go into everything. I don't have mobile battalion. Yeah, I can't do that yet. But I can do the rest. What's that make me look like here? Okay, so I need to get things into infantry equipment and field uniforms most of all. You gotta go. Take care. It's been nice chatting with you. Come chat again sometime when I'm streaming. There is a friend of yours who's about to stream on Twitch, and I gotta help him get things set up and be present. Yeah, it was nice chatting with you too. Take care. I love chatting with people all around the world. Appreciate hearing all the different things. Thank you very much for your time. Sog submits to Italy. Now we're just rolling in the world tension. Hungary leaves the League of Nations. Okay, I'm up to 238. I can probably do something here. Another theorist. Air Force. I'm really not building the Air Force yet. Navy. I don't have the experience to do any of that stuff. I guess that putting in a chief, a supreme commander, would be the basic starting point. Okay. $1939. Still only 1939. Yeah, I can do tank research now. If I get caught up, I do tanks. Don't have a need for that yet. 26 on the heavy anti-air. That's looking good. Oh, yeah, need that one. Need that one. Lee Infield number 4. Smoke generators. What was that, Clyde? Were you saying something? That was a polite human word you were using. Oh, now you're going to yell at me because I didn't hear you. Well, I don't have a big need of that, but Poopy? Okay, we'll get it. We'll clean it up. Thanks for telling me, Clyde. I got it. No problem. Yeah, we got your poopy. That gets me the research slot, which is dealing with tanks and air techs. That's good. We'll deal with that. Get that going before the war starts. I just don't have the public. The government might believe in it, but the public doesn't. Okay, how's the training going? Okay, most of these guys are trained. I think anybody who's not trained, I need to turn into a third unit. %, and it's mostly infantry equipment and uniforms, and a little bit of cavalry equipment. Infantry equipment designer, lower the IC costs of infantry equipment, assault equipment, machine guns, support equipment. I'm going to go with the support equipment. I'm going to be using a lot of support equipment. So lowering the costs is important. Recon, such as recon equipment too. We were mobile recon. I do have a year ahead bonus. Not that I'm using that yet. And it's 43 days. I don't have a big military, so the field hospital is going to be important to implement. Hello, Bonnie. Are you a pretty bird? Tell the people you're a pretty bird. Pretty bird. Yeah, Clyde. She's a pretty bird, isn't she? Pretty bird. What are you guys squawking about? I don't know what you want. You've got treats. I got cheese out here. You're not even eating it. You've got lots of din-din. If you want to go night-night, you can go night-night. There's lots of stuff for you to play with. Your toys are around. You just want to sit here and bother me all day. You're a typical, like, 2-year-olds, you guys. All building construction, factory, increase, military factory construction speed. That's good. I think that's more important. I do not talk Norwegian. I am sorry, first time caller. I have no Norwegian language skills at all. Je parle un petit français. But not Norwegian. I'm learning bird language a bit. That's the tank one. Tank and air. So that would get the basic tankette. And this would get me improved scout car, armored car. Improved light vehicles, I guess, is the first step. And infantry equipment is shorter than everything else, I think. Let's put a second one in there. I'm afraid for Norwegian, I would have to use Google Translate. Okay, so we now have the ability to do the Wellington. That would be ahead of time to get the next Spitfire level. I guess I need to move over here. Dog fighting experience or fighter sweeps? I'm going to go with that. Okay, I have that 51 points. Let's look what we can do here. I'm going to want a spotter. So you get those. You're the first line in the Atlantic Ocean. %86. Okay, I think that's high enough. We can start doing a second unit. Yeah, most of the stuff we have. So let's do a third unit as well. Okay, and we have that cavalry unit. Let's start with this one. Which is way down the list. Okay, motorized isn't going anywhere fast. At least we have some development. Magnifique. Tour de France. $1939. I've gone with the dual purpose guns. That would be of some effort to ladder shooting. That actually is more well-rounded. I think I'll go with that one. Mechanical computing. Yeah. 1938. I want steel production. As a priority. We'll jump back over there. Field Hospital 2. Coming along well. Signals, gonna need. Summer of 39. Last nice summer for a lot of years. In a lot of places. National Employment Commission. Days for the mobilization. Anything getting silly big and overstock for early war? Infantry guns, maybe? Thousand mortars? Hey, don't land on the keyboard, Clyde. You're not. Yeah, I don't care. Don't land on the keyboard. Yeah, we'll take care of the poopy. Don't worry. Montreal shipyards. Definite possibility. Don't need that yet. Don't need that yet. Or that. Or that. Or that. Department of Munitions Supplies adds 2 factories. That would be good. I don't have the war support to do this. I think the 2 factories. Okay, we got the trench warfare. Actually, I have a 25% for there. So, the time has come to make a decision. Mobile warfare, superior firepower, methodical battle doctrine, mass assault. Assault operations. I think I'm going to use large amounts. Well, planning, I got a higher bonus for it, but superior firepower is, I think, the way I want to go. We're going to do it. Okay, I left my airplanes on training. You don't need to do that. Okay, let's check on the Navy. Training should be pretty much done. Yeah. Okay, 2, 3. So we've got 4 destroyers, 7 small escorts. Oh, they shouldn't be on auto now. They switched to auto. Bring them on here. For now, we'll designate that as our location for starting ships. June 1940, so I get the 2 cruisers. And when something's in repair, I am not building a new escort vessel. So it is what it is. What do we have here? The German Reich is justifying against us. Well, not against us. They're justifying against Poland. Yeah. Typical World War II. Not on the keyboard, buddy. I told you already. A Polish question. Yeah. Really made people angry. I don't know what you're angry about. And they're going to split it with the Russians. France bans communism. Polish refused the German ultimatum. And there we have it. They declared war on Poland. And now we are at war. We are officially at war, which will open up other things on our tech tree that we couldn't get to before. The War Measures Act, prepare for the election, all kinds of things. Wartime Price and Trade Board. We have huge, huge changes. Shadow factories. Yep. Huge, huge, huge changes on the horizon now. The game totally changes for Canada now. And what is our situation? I don't know what you hit there, buddy, but you jumped on the keyboard. And we don't have enough troops to do diddly. 86% full. Infantry equipment, the field uniforms are coming along okay. Cavalry equipment, you don't need too many, so disband one of the cavalry units. That would probably help. Still only 75%. They don't have enough artillery yet. Don't have enough infantry guns? Oh, this must be because you were training. Yeah, transport trucks are way down on those. And armored cars. We just don't have armored cars or heavy transport trucks. You're a Western unit. You need to be trained. That's all the training units. 2 units on the east, cavalry, and my slightly upgraded unit. So, let's look at that slightly upgraded unit. Garrison infantry. We'll duplicate it. We're going to call this a small infantry unit. And it will actually be an infantry unit. And we will increase it to 8. Infantry. We will add a hospital to it. And logistics by cavalry. Okay. So this will be my small infantry. We'll just put a marker on that. It says 8 infantry, 1 artillery. Like that. And we will save this to an actual infantry unit. We will save that. And we will upgrade our first most complete unit to that. And of course it's still short the uniforms. It has the manpower. Doesn't have the radios or the cavalry horse equipment. So it's really no worse off than the other. It's got the specialty equipment, definitely. So the next transition, once I get the infantry equipment and uniforms, I should be able to make the next transition in my troops upwards pretty quickly. Well, this stream has gone on for 4 hours, and I think this is a good place, the starting of the war, to, yeah, whatever, Clyde. I think this is a good place to live it. You guys have been bad this entire stream, you know that? Go night-night. Send you to your room. Yeah, night-night, go on. You're bad. Okay? Go night-night. Anyway, this is a good place to end the stream. So, Grandpa Canuck going to sign off here. All you people in bots, please subscribe. Please leave your comments, what you like and don't like about my streams. Any questions you have, type them out. I'll gladly reply. And join me next time. So, until next time, all you people in bots, take care. Bye-bye.